Wild women, the ribbon and the terran.
Alright guys, so we got another sea-doo video. No, I'm just fucking with you. We're working on the Polaris today. Last time we had it out, I ended up melting both the crossover hose and this hose. There's that hose and the crossover hose. What's left of it at least. Yeah. So I melted the hoses. What it ended up being was there's a little pickup screen in the back of the jet here. In there. Whoa, hey. Let's turn the light on. So there's a pickup screen back there, somewhere back in there. You can't quite see it on the... Right there, see that square up there? There we go. See that square right about there? That was plugged full of grass. So I wasn't getting any cooling to the engine. The strange part was that the cylinders were normal temperature and the cooling rail was normal temperature. This pipe was normal temperature. The only things that were hot were the water box, the intake pipe, which I've replaced, the flex pipe there, and then that's my repair for crossover tube. I'm going to get new coupler boots eventually. I just cut the old thing up to get it back in the water. I've actually also went to all the work on this hull and repaired all the holes in it. Like there was a hole here and it was leaking really bad, and then there was one in the front here. Hence why I was doing the work on the other Polaris hull. There was a giant hole there, but we've got it patched up now. So, but today we're going to be looking at the cooling system. Once I put these hoses back on, I tested it here on land, and these two cylinders seem like they're keeping cool, but this one wasn't. So I'm going to take the fuel or the cooling rail off today and inspect to see if there's a blockage from here to here. And then I'm going to potentially take this cylinder head off as well and see if that changes anything. But first we're going to do a compression test on all three cylinders, make sure it's still the same as last year. Okay, so earlier in the video I showed you that I was doing a compression test, and I got wondering why it was 130, 135, 145, and I got watching the footage and I realized that I did not take out these two plugs when I checked this one. And from my experience, if you do that, then these two cylinders are still gonna get oil into them and cause an incorrect reading on the cylinders, because the oil will give more compression, show more compression than there actually is. So I'm going to go through now with all the spark plugs out and check each cylinder to see what they're at. Alright, so let's try this again. I'm on the first cylinder, on the mag cylinder. And we are at 110, 20, 130. Oh, not even. Sorry about that. We're at 130 on the mag cylinder. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so let's try this again on the middle cylinder. Okay, so middle cylinder is 10, 20, 130 again. Alright, and I'll get the last one now. Alright, so now we're on the PTO cylinder. And 10, 20, 30, we're at 140. Okay, so 130, 130, 140. So that's a little bit different than what I got the first reading. So as I thought correctly, because I've left these two plugs in the first time I checked, I got a higher compression reading because of the oil that are in the cylinders. When you take all three plugs out, there won't be any oil buildup. It will just spit it out as it turns over. So that makes a little more sense now. So we got 130, 130, 140, which is good. This one looks like it's a little bit higher than 130, maybe it is 135, which is good as well because the middle cylinders are always the ones that go out first. Alright, so I got the water intake rail off. There's no blockage in there. I don't think there's a blockage in there either. I honestly think it was just to do with I was running it on the hose the last time I was running it, and it just wasn't enough water to get keep the mag cylinder fully cold. But I might as well take this head off and make sure that there's nothing in the head itself being plugged up, any of the water passages. So we'll get into that then. From what I can tell, it doesn't. Actually, maybe I'll just get my camera out and stick it down those holes there. Okay, so I got the inspection camera down in that port, and it's kind of hard to see on filming a camera on a camera, but let's see if I can. You can see down that port pretty well. It's clean in there. So let's see if we can get this other one. And again, it looks pretty clean down that port too. And the PTO one. Yeah, it looks fairly clean down there too. So I don't think I'm going to take those heads off. I think it's fairly clean down in there. But I would say if you're having a cooling issue, I would start with this intake grate on the back here. This guy here, there's a little grate on the inside that pulls water as it pumps or goes through the jet and sucks it back up into the motor to cool the motor. It will then go into here, feed into here. I'm not sure if there's an impeller in there or something. Yeah, it looks like there is an impeller. This is an impeller, a little water pump. And then this is your coolant temperature, which unfortunately my display and everybody else's in the world's display is broken. That's just a Polaris thing. So yeah, I'm gonna probably stick this back on there and consult with my brother if he wants to do something about these cylinders. Again, they were 130, 135, 145, so that's kind of quite a bit of inconsistency. I was looking up, and top end kits for these things are $320 shipped to the door. So it's a little bit of it's a good chunk of change, but you know, it's better than fucking having to do a stupid bottom end on one of these things. Bottom ends are not cheap and not fun to do. You'd have to tear the motor out, and then when you take these motors out, then you have to realign them correctly. And if you don't have the alignment tool, then you can't do so and properly. Same goes with these ones too, the Sea-Doos. This one, I haven't showed anybody this one yet, but this one's the same problem, or well, it is that problem. I've been kind of stealing parts off of it for customers, but this cylinder is locked, or this wrist pin's locked up. Crank arm's locked up on that one, so this motor's no good really. It's just really good for parts. Unfortunately, this thing would have been pretty nice. Still on the market for a 650 motor. If I can find one cheap enough, I'll throw it in here. There is ways to get these off without unaligning them, but it's just very hard because you gotta take the bolts off from the underneath, and it's not very fun to do. But anyways, I figured I'd do a short little video on this. Like I said, I thought maybe that this was plugged up and not cooling correctly, but it looks like it's fairly clean in there. So I'm gonna put it back together just to go with the theory that the garden hose wasn't enough water to cool the mag cylinder. The center and the PTO cylinder were stealing all the water. So I'm just going to put this back together then, and we'll water test it and just keep an eye on it. I water tested my crossover tube. All I did there was I got a piece of exhaust pipe. It was off like a Chrysler muffler. It had a nice little 90 in there, and I just cut it back till it fit. Like I said, though, I'm going to be taking the or replacing these homemade boots with actual boots when they come in. I haven't got them purchased yet, but I'll probably end up doing that here shortly. So, because these aren't in the best shape either, but they're better than nothing. And again, don't mind my nasty ass hull. It looks like someone spilled blue paint all over the inside of it for some reason. I don't know what's going on in there. This ski has had a very extremely rough life, and it's finally somebody's trying to take care of it, and that somebody is me and my brother. But if you like these videos, like, subscribe. If you have any questions about any of these Sea-Doos, Polaris or Skidoo, I might be able to answer them for you. I don't know much about Yamahas or the Suzukis or the Kawasaki's, but just because I haven't experienced them yet. Anyways, have a good one. Bye.